Wolf time,
Space
everybody!
Wolves!
That's right.
Space Wolves.
For those of you who may not be familiar, I am long known as the Art of War Space Wolf person. My saga is endless, but today I pass and bestow thee upon you.
The saga begins.
The saga begins.
Champions
Your saga
of Rust,
begins.
my saga begins. I'm excited.
You got new
I'm
hair.
really excited.
You got new wolves.
I know.
We got new game. Talk to me about these Space Wolves, Quinn. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Before we get too deep into our Space Wolf chat, which, you know, we're going to be talking Space Wolves all day for you, along with Dark Angels and Blood Angels and Black Templars, and believe it or not, Death Watch came out as well. We're going to be talking all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
So if you like competitively focused content, you like learning about Warhammer, you like learning the game and becoming better yourself, do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us what you think about our Sons of Rust.
So, Nick, are we going to be doing all the factions later on? Like, as they come out?
As they come out, we're going to be doing all these factions,
all
of course.
Factions.
We are limited by our James Workshop overlords, but, you know, as soon as we can talk about stuff,
as soon as we can,
we're going to be talking about stuff. Quentin, I believe you have a fun fact you'd like to share for us.
I have a very fun fact of the day.
Let me hit it.
Today's fun fact is about dogs, because, you know, we're doing Space Wolves about dogs. So dogs were domesticated about 15,000 years ago, and the oldest canine remains that we have that we think is a domesticated dog and not a wolf comes from about 14,200 years ago, where they found a dog in a burial cairn with people.
Really?
Yeah, they were all, like, gussied up together.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really cute. People like dogs.
I know, dogs are really awesome.
Dogs are
And you know what else is awesome?
What's awesome?
Space Wolves. Space Wolves are the best chapter.
Well, we all know that they have dogs, and therefore that they are the best chapter. It is a well-known fact.
Yes.
So let's read through this over here. We got our detachment rules, Saga of the Warrior Born.
Okay, so if you haven't been following along with all the other streams, each of the specific chapters, the non-codex compliant ones, now have a detachment instead of a chapter tactic. Mm-hmm. Chapter tactics are gone. But you can still run Space Wolves in a Gladius Strike Force. You can also run them using the Champions of Rust detachment.
That's true. That's true. So basically, for Saga of the Warrior Born, if you're going to go with this option, then you complete it when your character destroys an enemy character. All these sagas are triggered when your characters do awesome stuff.
They're really awesome. So the one thing it's important to note is that you pick your saga at the end of the battle round, which means you know if you complete it before you pick the saga.
That's always
so you don't have to call your shot and then try and do it. It's if you do it, you get to pick your thing. So, yeah.
So option 1 is if a character kills a character, your army, and this is for your entire army, gets sustained hits 1, so exploding 6s. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Saga of the Majesty is if your character is in range of an objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone. Not easy to do, but if you can pull it off at the end of the battle round, so going second is obviously helpful. Improve your OC of your army by 1. That's an amazing rule. Saga of the Bear. If one or more Adeptus Astartes character models from your army were reduced below half their starting number wounds, but were not destroyed, which is not easy, but also not impossible, your army gets 6 of Feel No Pain. And then finally, if your character destroys a monster or vehicle, your entire army is going to get lethal hits, those 6 hit auto wound.
Yeah. So here's my take on this.
Let me have it.
Is that these are all really awesome abilities, but they're kind of difficult to achieve.
And for the first couple turns, they're definitely not going to be in play.
So it's the kind of thing that you're going to have to really work on to get a lot of benefits later in the game, and you can't complete more than one saga in a turn, which means in turns 3 and 4 you might get kind of like bottlenecked. The good news for Space Wolves players, though, is that Space Wolves have a whole lot of characters. Almost every squad can take a character.
They probably will.
Well, you can take the battle leaders are all like...
They're all
characters. Yeah. They're like the fancy sergeants.
So it's actually not that challenging to accomplish any of these, given that your entire army is made up of this stuff.
Exactly, yeah. So the other really cool thing is Saga of the Bear. You can take a hazardous weapon, and if you roll away, you damage yourself. Yeah.
That's funny.
So you give every guy a plasma pistol.
Yeah, why not? Hazard! All right, but you know what? These are just some rules applied to some data sheets. Let's get into the data sheets of the actual Space Wolf army.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
He's cool. He's fun.
The young wolf over here. Actually, before we get into the data sheets, why don't we get the
stratagems? We're also going to have enhancements. Mm-hmm. So Armor of Contempt. This is exactly the same as the one in the Gladius Strike Force. Most Space Marine chapters have access to this.
1 CP, -1 AP. Did you know that in 9th edition, Armor of Contempt was just a thing for all Space Marines for all
the time?
Half of the edition? Yeah. That was really good and meta-defining. The strat, far more reasonable. Also very strong.
Yep.
All right, go for the throat. What's this do, Queen?
Okay, so this one gives your melee units +1 AP, which, spoiler alert, is going to be really good for a lot of melee units that I'm going to talk about later. If Saga of the Beast Slayer has been completed, you get Lance.
So after you kill a monster or vehicle and your army gets lethal hits, why not also give it +1 to wound?
Yeah, so this stratagem is really similar to the Honor the Chapter stratagem that the Gladius Strike Force has access to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there's
awesome.
that. Runic Wards is a 5-up Violent Pain against mortal wounds and psychic attacks, which I think is going to be really good. We've seen a lot of like devastating wounds.
Yeah, and a lot of the big Chaos Psychers and Eldar Psychers, they do damage with the Psychic keyword, and don't even get me started about Thousand Suns. Yeah, that's a problem for a different day, everybody.
Yeah. If the Saga of the Bear is completed, you get a 4-up Violent Pain against mortal wounds psychic attacks, which means you become a Custodes.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Then they got the Death Howl.
Death Howl, this one is a 6-inch consolidation. I really like this one on Murder Fang.
So we'll get to Murder Fang.
We'll get to Murder Fang.
We can't put the cart before the horse over here.
Okay.
Warrior Pride.
This one is you get to pick a Saga, and the unit for the turn counts as having completed it.
That's really cool.
So that stratagem is really good. Basically, what the stratagem can be is +1 OC, or sustained hits, or lethal hits, or a 6-up Violent Pain.
Right. And basically all these combine to pretty much make your Space Wolves very utilitarian. You know, 1 CP +1 AP, 1 CP -1 AP for incoming attacks, 1 CP 6-inch consolidate. None of these are necessarily, I'm going to use this every turn, every strat.
Yep.
But, you know, in the right situation, you're definitely going to find uses for these, which is great.
And then Relentless Assault is you can shoot. Yeah, you can shoot and fall back, and then if Saga of the Warrior Born has been completed, you can fall back and charge.
You can also shoot in advance. So advance and shoot, advance and fall back, or shoot, charge and fall back.
So these stratagems, a lot of them proc on completing your sagas.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know what else procs on completing your sagas?
What?
Zin25 becoming a member of the Bronze Tier of the War Room. Appreciate you. Hopefully you're going to get some amazing content. I'm sure you will. Let us know what you think.
When are we going to get a pink tier?
When are we going to get a pink tier? Quentin, we have very solidified tiers. We got bronze tier, silver tier, gold tier. I don't think pink naturally meshes with the iconography of these colors. Okay. But, you know, nothing against the color pink. I like your hair.
Thank you.
Let us know what you think in the comments of Quentin's hair, or these sagas. Or these enhancements. Tell me about these enhancements.
Okay, we got 4 of them. Like normally, we have the Pelt of the Beowulf, which at the start of the Fate phase, every enemy unit with an engagement range, they must take a Battle Shock test, which is actually kind of good. Okay,
yeah, for real. Battle Shock is absolutely a factor. I played a lot of games. Getting things like a 20-man warrior unit to fail some Battle Shock, I'm sure that's going to be good.
So this can be really awesome. It means you can't, like, interrupt. Mm-hmm. Or if you're playing against Space Marines, if they have a fight on death, they can't use that because they're Battle Shocks. They can't use stratagems.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The Black Death. The Bear's melee weapons have anti-monster and anti-vehicle 4+. This one will come later on in a fun, spicy combo I have.
Fun, spicy combos? Quentin's got fun, spicy combos?
Yeah.
You know what? We're also doing War Room combo videos, so if you want to learn about the fun, spicy combos, how to put all these rules together, check out the War Room for that info.
All right. We have the Wolftail Talisman, which is -1 damage for your character, which is good. Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we have is a Frost Weapon, which gives +1 strength, AP, and precision.
So, remember how we're trying to kill enemy characters with our characters so that we can trigger our rules? Precision's a really big help for that. Really is. And +1 strength, +1 AP.
Yep.
These are some good stuff. I think you're definitely going to use Wolftail Talisman and Frost Weapon. This Black Death is, like you said, a combo-oriented, so I'm curious to see what you've come up with.
Yep.
Pelt of the Beowulf, I don't know if you're going to make the cut. It's going to come down to points. Quote that for the day.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
So one other thing that's important to note for Space Wolves is that since you're Space Marines, you also get to keep Oath of the Moment.
Sure do.
So you do have that. You don't lose that.
Don't forget you reroll everything.
Yes,
there's fewer rerolls though. More pretty pictures.
I'm going to take a minute as we're moving into the data sheets. I want to say again, you can run Space Wolves as a Gladius, and I think that is probably the way you run them. Yeah. Competitively, as you run the Gladius.
And that's the Space Marine chapter.
So the advance and charge is actually really big for Space Wolves. Logan Grimnar.
All right, Logan Grimnar's got to be the big daddy of the Space Wolves. Tell me about how he's the pack leader.
Probably my favorite or second favorite character in this book. Maybe my third. Space Wolves have a lot of really awesome characters.
He's a character in this book.
I think he probably goes in every single one of my Space Wolves lists.
So what does he do for you?
So he's got a Stormbolter, whatever. He hits pretty hard in combat. 10 attacks, strength 6, AP 2, damage 1, or 6 attacks, strength 8, AP 2, damage 3.
Seems solid.
Pretty solid. Mm-hmm. And then once a battle, he gives your entire army reroll hits, reroll charges. which is very good for Space Wolves. On the turn that you want to connect, he's just awesome for that. Also, anytime that he kills something, you get +1 CP.
That is also pretty good. That is also pretty good. I'm just trying to make this. There we go. Oh no. We're back.
There we go. Okay. Aside from that, he's a Terminator character, so he's toughness 5. He's got 6 wounds, got a 4-up invuln, got a 2-up save. Pretty standard. High King of Fenrir stuff. He's pretty awesome. I like him a lot.
Yeah, so he's pretty cool. Giving your army reroll hits is awesome in general. Just sustained hits. Exploding 6s. That's one of the things you can very easily trigger. Lethal hits as well. If you can get your sagas going, this guy's money.
Or just spend the CP and just put...
Well, yeah, you can always... Yeah. Space Wolves have always been like a traditionally, I can spend CP to make one unit ludicrously hard hitting, and it doesn't matter which doctrine I'm in or how those rules are operating. So that's still there, and I like to see that.
Yep.
What can he join? He can join a variety of things.
He can join any Terminator unit.
He can join Relics, Terminator Assault Squads, Terminator Squads, or Wolfguard teams. You have a lot of different Terminators here.
Yep. Well, you have the 3 basic ones, and then the Space Wolf specific Terminators.
Okay. You know what I'm super excited about, though?
What?
When Logan Grimnar rides a Storm Rider!
A Storm Rider! So here's what Logan Grimnar and Storm Rider gets. He has the same rules. Offensively, he's the same, but the 2 little dogs at the front, which were domesticated 15,000 years ago, get some extra attacks. Strength 5, AP 1, damage 1, extra attacks is going to be something you're going to be seeing a lot of in this book. Spoiler alert. He can join Thunderwolves instead of Terminators.
Well, obviously, Santa's sleigh is being pulled by Thunderwolves. He should join Thunderwolves.
So he also gains 6 extra wounds and 5 extra movement and a pip of toughness.
So he gets pretty chunky.
We will see if, points or whatever. If he costs about the same, you probably want him.
I think this guy is awesome. So, adding this much durability, 2-up save, 4-up invul, 12 wounds to a Thunderwolf unit, of course, points pending, but Well,
remember, he can't tank for them. He has to be the last one.
He's gonna be the last one. They're tanking for him, you know? All of a sudden, your Thunderwolf unit, we'll get to them, but they're only gonna be so many models and so durable, and they're the kind of unit that has to sit in the open and be shot.
Yep.
Presumably, they're not infantry, so they're not Kool-Aid manning through walls and stuff. They're gonna have to get shot.
They're mounted.
So, adding Logan Grimnar to that unit adds 12 more wounds to it. It's like adding 2 or 3 Thunderbolts.
He also hits really hard, and spoiler, he's going to go to damage 4. Yeah. Or damage 2 on a sweeps. Okay. I also kind of like solo Logan Grimnar, where he doesn't join a unit, and the turn you want to, connect with him, you deep strike him on your backfield objective, and he goes, woohoo! And you get real charges, real hits.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's Logan Grimnar.
Logan Grimnar. Okay. Points pending.
Neal Stormcaller.
So he's a classic. He's been around since the good old times. He's traditionally a great psyker. Let's see what that's translated into. He's got Living Lightning, which is a gun.
It's sustained hits 2, which is cool.
That is cool. D6 shots, strength 7, AP 1 damage.
Or 2d6 shots at the same profile, but hazardous.
And sustained hits 2. So hazardous, whatever.
He's a good option to blow himself up.
He's a good chance of doing 3 damage to himself, which will trigger your rules.
Yes. So an important thing to note is that he has more than 4 wounds, or more than 3 wounds, so he can hurt himself and still be fine. But also his gun is pretty long range, so if you want to try and shoot yourself in the head to get a 6-up fuel pain for your army, he is one of the best options for that.
Yeah, you're definitely going to at least attempt that. Also, 2d6 shots as sustained hits 2 is legitimately good.
Pretty good, yeah.
In close combat, he's also sustained hits 2.
Yep.
This isn't going to stack with sustained hits 1, so if you trigger your saga of, I believe it's the Hunter? The Bear?
One of them.
One of the sagas that gets you sustained hits. It's not going to become sustained hits 3 all of a sudden. You're just going to choose to use sustained hits 2.
He also gives his unit stealth and +1 or -1 to wound against psychic attacks.
Okay, so
if you're going to be fluffy and you want to put him against your Thousand Sons, he's presumably pretty good.
Presumably,
I'm going to assume Thousand Sons have a lot of psychic attacks.
Teching for anti-psychic is not a bad choice.
It's not.
Tyranids do it. Zinch does it.
Yep.
Thousand Sons, Grey Knights, Eldar. There's a lot of this stuff. And people bring psychers for their own personal reasons, and oftentimes psychers have psychic attacks, so just get free bonus value there. Right, so he can join Terminators.
Yeah. Points pending. I don't hate him.
I think he's solid. I mean, he's kind of average. He's kind of mid, but we'll see what his points are. If he's cheap, that's awesome.
Yes.
He does get to trigger Saga the Bear fairly quickly,
which is pretty awesome.
All right.
1 out of 6 times, but yeah.
Bjorn the Fell-Handed is awesome 6 out of 6 times.
I love this guy. He is one of the best characters in the book, and let me tell you why.
Please do.
He's half damage, 5-up Beyond Pain, toughness 9, 2-up save. So he is a brick.
He's a brick.
He's a brick.
Half damage, feel no pain on it's not going
as someone who
anywhere
ran the Avatar a lot last edition, like he's great.
Yeah.
He also has a Vect.
So the more I read 10th edition, the more I become familiar with these rules and these nuances. These abilities, we call them Vect because they're shorthand from the previous edition, but basically abilities that make your opponent's stratagems cost more for successive uses, they're money in the bank. They're money out of your opponent's bank. Yep. They're really, really, really strong. So the fact that he's already got an impressive stat line, and then he's got a utility army-wide debuff for your opponent, awesome.
So he also he's pretty good in combat. He's 6 attacks hitting on 2, strength 12, AP 2, damage 3, so respectable. And then I think you probably take the Hellfrost Cannon, which is D6 shot at damage 2 Flamer, or 1 shot at damage 5.
Yeah, the Hellfrost Cannon definitely hits. 1-shot damage 5 is good, but it's still only 1 shot.
I like it for the Flamer.
D6 Flamer, strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage. Let me tell you, in our starter set game, which I know is a starter set game, but still, I played with real units, Scari was flaming me with his strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage Flamer. I was wandering around with my poor Space Marines. It sucked. Overwatched every single turn with that thing.
You know what unit I really like, though, is the Redeemer.
Well, yeah the Redeemer slaps.
All right. So that's Bjorn, also very good.
He's pretty good. And don't forget, let's not sleep on his melee Q money. He's got True Claw. He's great in melee.
Great melee.
Lethal hits, auto wounding, 6 attacks, strength 12. I know strength 12 seems a little redundant if you're looking at it through the lens of 9th edition. It's like strength 10 and strength 12 are functionally the same thing. No, strength 12 matters in this edition. Oh my god. AP 2, 3 damage, solid. He doesn't join anybody. He doesn't need to. He's Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
Yep.
Speaking of fell-handed, what about if we take that hand and make it a Rockfist?
Arjack Rockfist. He hits pretty hard in combat. He's got 5 attacks, strength 8, AP 2, damage 3. So he bonks you. He's a leader. He can join Terminators.
He's anti-monster 2+.
He is, so he's good at that.
He's good at that.
He can also throw his hammer for the same thing.
Well, he's always been able to throw his hammer. Everyone knows hammers are boomerangs.
Well, his teleports back to him.
Boomerangs.
Yes.
Yes.
But it doesn't it's not like it curls around. It just woo.
How does it teleport? Like Thor?
Yeah, he literally just Thor.
Okay.
I think he's literally just Thor.
Arjack is Thor.
Okay. So while he's leading a unit, you get +1 to hit if you're below starting strength, and +1 to wound if you're below half strength. And you can target him with Epic Challenge for 0 CP. So he basically has precision on his Fell Hammer, which is pretty solid.
And great for actually triggering your sagas.
Yep.
You know who's also good at triggering your sagas? Bjorn. He's just a character. Stand there, shoot your last cannon. Kaboom, killed the thing.
Yep. And then against characters, which means against character units as well. So as an attached character to a unit, you get reroll hits and reroll wounds.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Reroll hits, reroll wounds? So you may not...
Only for him, not for the unit.
Oh, not for the whole unit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. But still, let's not forget that characters join units all the time. You don't even have to be hitting the character to get reroll hits and reroll wounds.
You probably are. But he is one of the best character assassins we've seen in the game so far.
Yeah.
He just walks up and just bangs you in the face.
Bonk.
Yeah. So you deep strike him, you go for your YOLO 9, you can reroll for free because you got Logan.
Why are we necessarily deep striking him? Why aren't we rapid ingressing him and then walking him into a charge?
That works.
That works too.
Or you can put him in a Land Raider Redeemer and flame somebody and then get out.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can deliver the big Terminator man. Okay, so he can join the Terminators.
One other thing though is you can join him and a captain to a unit.
Oh, cool. So he's like a little lieutenant type of model. Nice. That's always good. How about
Ulrich the Slayer? I really like Ulrich the Slayer. He's got a plasma pistol, which is great for triggering your Saga of the Bear. Mm-hmm. He hits respectable in combat. He's leadership 5, which is also important. And he gives he's a 6-inch aura of all Space Wolves get leadership 5, which is the Custodies or Primarch is what we've seen.
Let's keep it real. Leadership is a big deal in this edition. Battle Shock hurts. I played against Scari's Tyranids in that Leviathan game, and he used that Battle Shock for your whole army ability. That sucked. I failed like half of my Battle Shock tips because Leadership 6 just is not that strong, especially when there's easy -1s all over the place in this game. So getting Leadership 5 is legitimately a bonus.
So his cool bonus is he gives his unit real hits and wounds of 1. If you're fighting a character, monster, or vehicle, so like more units than not, full rolls to hit, full rolls to wound.
Let me reiterate. Characters joined to units, characters being individual things, vehicles and monsters are over 50% of the game's data sheets. This is not uncommon.
Yep. What can he join? He can join Blood Claws, Greyhunters, Longfangs, and Wolfguard.
He sure can. So that's pretty solid. You can join Longfangs and Wolfguard, which is not your standard troops.
I really like Blood Claws.
Blood Claws.
Blood Claws.
Let's find out what Blood Claws do. But before we do
Ragnar
that,
Blackmane, he is also in the top 3. I think my top 3 Space Wolf characters are Bjorn, Logan, and this guy. So he gives his unit advance in charge, and when he charges, he has 10 attacks hitting on 2s at strength 8, AP 3, damage 2.
So his battle lust ability is going to give him +2 strength and attacks, obviously, so that's the improved profile, strength 8, AP 3, damage 2, 10 attacks. This guy's smackety slaps. He's
With sustained hits.
already sustained hits, don't even need that. And do I need to tell you how good rule advance in charge is? It's really good.
Really good.
Kind of game defining.
Yes.
Kind of unit defining. Kind of awesome.
We both played a lot of Drukhari. It is a unit defining, game defining rule.
Yeah, it's Ragnar. And he's got a 4-up invul.
Yeah, no, this guy he's
tough.
He slammed. He's very good.
He's very good.
He's very good.
And he joins... Oh, he's more options. So he can join Wolfguard, Bloodclaws, Greyhounders, Intercessors, Blade Guard, and Assault Intercessors.
Blade Guard is the one I like.
Yeah.
I really like Ragnar and 6 Blade Guard in a Land Raider.
It's interesting that he's an Intercessor, or like a Primaris type model, rather, but he's able to join non-Primaris units.
I know, I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah. So yeah, he's going to smack. Him and the Blade Guard advancing and charging, sustained hits, murdering. That seems like a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crom Dragon Gaze. He is there.
What do you mean he's there? He's exciting. He's got the Worm Claw. He's got lethal hits, 6 attacks, strength 7, AP 2 damage. That's all right.
It's fine.
It's fine.
He picks a unit that's an infantry unit, and they take a battle shot test, which is not bad.
That is actually
It's actually quite good.
in your shooting phase, so you can just like move advance and then be like, aha, battle shot.
Yep, and there's not like a clause or whatever, so you can just do that. And then each time he's leading a unit, it's the same thing. We've seen this a lot, where it's +1 to hit if you're below starting strength, +1 to wound if you're below half strength.
Yeah, that's definitely a common way to write rules. Is basically if you're attacking a unit, you get a bonus. If they're below strength or bigger
if
bonus.
if your unit is hurt.
Oh, this is about Space Wolves being hurt.
Yes.
Okay. I see you. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of unimpressive, unexciting, but you might run him if he's cheap. The Battle Shock rule is unique.
Matt O, I also had not heard of this guy. I did not know he was a character until
Man, you guys are not Space Wolf Saga Warrior veterans. You need to quit.
My saga is beginning.
Your saga is
My
beginning.
saga began today.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I know.
Give a super chat for Q Money Saga, or at least like the video and subscribe to the channel.
All right.
Greyhounders, Bloodclaws, and Wolfguard. Excellent units to join.
Yes.
Harold Deathwolf. Did you know about Harold?
I did. I have a story about Harold.
Tell me your story.
I was trying to get my brother to play Warhammer like 10 years ago. And the only faction he liked were the Space Wolves, because they had dogs and he liked the dogs. So I think I bought like 5 Fenrisian Hounds and Harold Deathwolf, and that was like the little battles we'd play against like 5 Fire Warriors or whatever. It was fun.
Harold Deathwolf should fight the Fire Warriors. Everything should fight Fire Warriors.
So I like this guy a lot, actually. He hits respectable in combat. Strength 6, AP 2, damage 2, 6 attacks, and he also got the Thunderwolf extra attacks. He once a turn he blanks a save.
Pew.
And at the when you charge, him and all the Thunderwolves he's with get devastating wounds on their teeth and claw.
So it says when your resolving attack made against this model. So I'm assuming if I join a Thunderwolf unit, I can't blank any save.
No, it's when he is targeted.
That is disappointing.
But it works quite well on against sniper weapons. As we saw, we talked a lot about sniper scouts. He's 7 wounds. He doesn't really die to snipers.
And also, he gives devastating wounds to the Thunderwolves themselves, which, you know, anytime you're slapping devastating wounds around as a rule, just really increases your unit's capabilities.
Yep. So
7 wounds.
I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. Thunderwolves get +1 damage when they charge, which applies to the characters they're in. Which means all of their crushing teeth and claws go to damage 2.
Which stacks with the devastating
wounds. His axe becomes damage 3. Talked about earlier about the Black Death. You give that to a Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf, then you join it to Thunderwolves, then he's damage 3 anti-monster, anti-vehicle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
With devastating wounds.
Okay. Harold Deathwolf joined the Thunderwolves. Thunderwolves seem like they're pretty strong.
You'll notice I am very high on Thunderwolves. I like them a lot.
I mean, how can you not be? They're epic. They're cool.
They're really good.
And this guy joins them.
Yep.
Canis Wolfborn, more Thunderwolves!
I also really like this guy.
Okay.
So he gives sustained hits to your Thunderwolves, just right off the bat.
Always good.
Moves 10, he's a pretty standard Thunderwolf unit. He also does some charge mortals, a respectable amount of charge mortals. And also, he has a pretty good, his lightning claws are 8 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, damage 1, twin linked, but again, Thunderwolves +1 damage.
for all weapons, not just the crushing teeth and claws. So that's a 2 damage lightning claw, strength 8 AP, strength 5 AP 2, twin link to those, so those reroll wounds.
Yes, only the charge though. So if you get charged, it's much less good.
Okay, I honestly am not that impressed with him. He is traditionally a very cheap character though, like addition to addition to addition. I have no idea what it'll cost, but I expect he'll be on the cheaper side just because like he doesn't have an invul. He's kind of like a slightly larger Thunderwolf himself, profile wise. Yes. Like, he's more like a character upgrade sergeant than he is his own character to stand alone and be awesome, but he is good with the Thunderwolves. Yeah. That's cool. And doing charge mortals is always one.
It's not terrible.
It's just good timing.
And he can also join Fenrir's Unals. I don't know why you ever would, but he can do that.
He makes them better leadership.
He does. He also can hold objectives. They're OC0.
Oh, well, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Wolfguard, Battle Leader, and Terminators. This is like the equivalent of a captain, right?
I believe it's a sergeant.
It's a sergeant. Oh.
You're going to notice a lot of these. There's a million Wolfguard Battle Leaders, because previously they were just an upgrade to the squad, but now they're like their own separate thing. They're a leader you have to join. So all of the Wolfguard Battle Leaders all have a rule where they have to be joined to a squad, otherwise they die. You can't run solo dudes anymore, sadly. Mm-hmm. But he's a guy, he gives your unit lethal hits, and he bodyguards for a character, so any characters in the unit get a 4 feel no pain. So good against sniper weapons. Okay. And then he's got some pretty standard Terminator weapon options.
If he takes the Relic Shield, he's got 6 wounds.
He does.
Lovely.
4 pinfall.
So normal Terminator options, Thunderhammers are always a good weapon. Twin Lightning Claws are fine. Power Fist is solid. Chain Fist is good versus vehicles. Mm-hmm. Seems fairly generic.
Nice. Seems good.
Unit upgrade character. Yep. Wolf Lord on a Thunderwolf.
Yep. So I like this guy. He's a captain on a Thunderwolf. He gives you a free strat, even if you already used it. So I like 2 units of Thunderwolves, one with Canis Wolfborn, one with a Wolf Lord. And Canis Wolfborn, you give it +1 to wound, +1 AP from either go for the throat or honor the chapter, and then you use it again on the other unit.
That seems good. So you see this kind of strat all over the place. This ability, I should say, makes stratagems free, especially, and it allows you to use the same stratagem more than once. Mm-hmm. There's not a clear winning stratagem in this codex, which is just like you spam this strat, but being able to just get value for your command points like that is really good.
It also gives you +1 advance and charge.
+1 advance and charge is awesome, especially when you advance and charge, because functionally it's +2 to your total distance at that point.
So you give this guy the Black Death, you give him a Thunder Hammer, and he goes bonk.
Bonk. Yeah, he seems fine.
Yeah.
Normal captain stuff. Joins Thunderwolf Cavalry. What a shocker. Mm-hmm. So chat's pointing out that this is new news to you, Mr. Saga of the Warrior Born. A Wolfguard Battle Leader is the equivalent of Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I called him a captain, you called him a sergeant, in between.
It's a lieutenant.
It's a lieutenant. Yeah. Now we have the Wolfguard Battle Leader.
Okay.
On the Thunderwolf.
Gives lethal hits.
Did you know that this is basically the same guy just riding a wolf?
You'll notice there's like 5 of these. They're all, there's one with a jetpack, there's one on foot.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
This guy, if you shoot the unit, it gets to make a normal move D6 inches. Do you remember the Blood Fury thing that Khorne Berserkers used to have?
Yeah, that was not that long ago.
It has that rule.
Nice. Okay, so especially on a unit like Thunderwolves, presumably like a maxed out Thunderwolf unit is not easy to shift, so it's actually going to make use of the fact that it's an aggressive hunter, meaning he gets to move as he gets shot.
Do you know what else that he can take?
What's that?
A plasma pistol.
What could I do with a plasma pistol? Oh, damage myself! Nice! Like something on the pain, look at that! Yeah, Spacels are silly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping that gets bashed.
Hey, even if you don't accidentally roll a 1, you still have more wounds.
Yeah.
It's once you roll the 1, though. You
either you shoot your opponent or you hurt yourself.
It's a win-win. Yeah. Okay, so he's got a variety of options. He can
take a bunch of stuff.
He can take a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but you can take him and a captain in the same unit.
So now we're getting to the actual units of this codex.
Yes.
And you said you were really excited for this one, so I'm curious
Blood Claws. When they charge, they get +1 attack and +1 strength.
That's always good. That's the same rule as Blood Angels, right?
Mm-hmm. They get Blood Angels.
Nice. They get to become Blood Angels.
Yep, so their Astartes Chainswords go to Strength 5, EP1, Damage 1, with 4 attacks each. You can take them in units of 15.
That's a lot of guys.
It is. So a whole bunch of dudes, they just run around being dudes. They don't actually do that whole much, so I'm assuming they're going to be relatively on the cheap side for Space Marines.
So you've actually been able to take them in larger size squads than 10 for editions after editions, and generally speaking, unless you try to make some weird blood claw, this unit hits really hard style unit, which you can't usually buff them that well, and I'm not seeing that many effective buffs from them. You don't really run them past 5-mans, even though you could. I'm not sure if that'll change with this edition, but even just having 5-man blood claws running around +1 strength and attack, a variety of different weapons they can choose from. Let's look at their options. They're OC2. Their leadership,
they don't have
6. They seem like a normal Space Marine unit with better options.
Just a big old squad that hits kind of hard.
Yeah.
You can give them real hits, you can give them lethal hits, you can give them stained hits, all kinds of fun things. You can +1 to wound, +1 AP.
That's the same with any unit. So one of the things I find with Space Marines, especially these combat-oriented Space Marine chapters, is you can take a lot of these kind of independently run units that are just like 5 dudes and give them their war gear. And then it's like, wow, with stratagem support, these units hit like freight trains for what they are. It's pretty cool. Talk to me about Greyhounders, Quentin.
So these are tactical Marines, but unlike tactical Marines, you can take them in squads of 5. Okay. And you can take 2 plasma guns in a squad of 5.
You can't take tactical Marines in 5-mans anymore.
10-man blocked.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Gone to the 5-man last plas squads. Rip. Okay, but these guys can take plasma guns. Yep. They can, in fact, take 2 plasma guns.
2 plasma
or
guns.
meltas, or flamers, or grab.
Yep.
And a power fist. And did you know one fun fact about these kinds of units that take a random assault weapon? Say like this, they don't have access to an assault weapon.
But they do have cunning hunters.
This unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it advanced or fall back. Okay, where I was going with that is that you can perform your actions if you advance with an assault weapon. And apparently you can just advance and shoot with this unit, so they don't need assault weapons. They're just going to advance and shoot these plasma guns.
Don't hate these guys.
These guys are good.
I kind of like them.
These guys are legit good. So they're not going to suffer the -1 to hit for advancing and shooting assault weapons. That's not a rule anymore. Assault as a rule on a weapon profile just means you can advance and shoot it, but so does cunning hunters. So, let's advance and fire it all.
Melt-a-guns.
Melt-a-guns. Yeah, this is sweet. This is sweet.
Fun.
I like that. Greyhounders. And they're kind of more like... They're kind of more like the tactical equivalent just for Space Wolves, so that's pretty cool. All right, now we're getting into the good stuff, the Wolf Guards.
These guys are not what they used to be.
What happened to them?
They lost jump packs.
They lost access to jump packs.
And like Vanguard veterans, their melee weapons became heirloom weapons.
Oh.
So no thunder hammers, no lightning claws, they're all the same.
Well, everyone knows that when you hit your opponent with heirlooms, it's about as effective as hitting them with a giant thunder hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
So generic weapon profile of 4 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 5, AP 1, and 1 damage is ultra soft. Yeah. Not ultramarines, ultra soft.
Ultra soft.
They have the chosen companies rule. While a character model's leading this unit each time on that unit makes attack, add 1 to the hit rule, which you'd think would be a great rule, but then you hit them with your wet noodle, so like nothing happens. Do they get rule up?
No,
they get,
that's it. You get a.
They could have storm shields.
Yeah, so they're all storm shield heirloom weapon is what you take.
So what does the storm shield offer you now?
4 pinball.
4 pinball. So it's kind of a durable unit.
Ish.
It's not a bad chaff killer. Like a 5-man dude with storm shields and a lot of attacks.
The issue is strength 5, AP 1, damage 1. You know what puts that out in spades?
Everything.
Blood claws.
Blood claws don't walk around with 4 pinballs.
That's fair. They don't.
They do walk around with OC2.
They do. Yes.
I don't think you're going to see too many Wolfen hit the tables, but you might see a meta. I've played in Space Marines a variety of years in the past where like having body spam with 4 pinballs is legitimately a tactic. I don't know if you're going to get enough of them.
What the points shake out to be.
Right. That is a travesty, a space travesty.
Lucas the Trickster.
Lucas!
Okay. Do you know what this guy's deal is?
Yes, he's a trickster.
Yeah. How many hearts does this guy have?
3?
1. Because his other one got stolen, and we replaced it with a stasis bomb. So if he ever dies, he takes you out with him.
That's really fun and fitting. I hope they made that a rule. They used to have a rule where, like, if he died, he did Mortals 2 on the way out.
He does that now.
So
he gives his unit -1 to hit, which is pretty cool. His hits not great in combat.
6 strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage is slightly more effective than a single Wolf Guard.
Yeah. On a 4-up, after he dies, you take D6 mortal wounds and you're battle shocked.
Okay, so you could make the plan legitimately suicide this guy and try to roll a 4-up.
Yeah.
That's not it.
I hope he's cheap.
He better be 20-something points, 30 points cheap. I mean, no, like, there's value to being a Space Marine character. Like, if he's dirt cheap, then you'll just take him. But, like, what a guy.
He has 4 wounds, so you can't blow him up.
He's got a plasma pistol.
He's got a plasma pistol.
I like how every character just comes with a plasma pistol.
Oh, yeah. No, I think if you do the Champions of Rust, every character gets a plasma pistol. Well, every character that is more than 3, less than 6 wounds. Because you have to be below half health, so if you have 6 wounds, it's useless. But if you're 3 wounds or whatever, you kill yourself, so you can't do that.
Okay, so some units are winners, and some units are losers, and some units, like Luke as a Trickster, they're cool.
Yeah.
They're cool. They're trying to trick you.
Okay, Wolfguard Terminators. These are regular Terminators.
Is there anything special and unique about these bad boys?
They don't get the Deep Strike teleport number rule. Other than that, I think they're the same.
Each time this model makes an attack, you can ignore all modifiers to that ballistic skill or weapon skill to the hit roll.
Yep.
That's normal Terminator rule.
It is that rule is identical to the
really
the Fury. It is the text point for point the same rule.
But maybe there's war gear options.
So you can mix and match assault and ranged Terminators in the same unit.
That is interesting.
Yeah, so you could take
like a bunch of Thunderhammer Storm Shield guys with a Cyclone Missile Launcher guy.
Yep.
That's been a tactic Spacewell players use forever.
Yep. So you.
Whether or not that's worth it, we'll come down to points.
We'll
see.
You could take 4 Thunderhammer Storm Shields and then 1 guy with the missiles. The Cyclones.
Yeah. That's typically the move. But also, the Assault Cannon's not bad. It has dev wounds these days.
No, I don't hate the Assault Cannon. I think I probably came with because you had a Stormbolter and a Cyclone. Yeah.
Daka. Storm Shield. Okay. Now, this is a unit we all love and know is super powerful. The Hounds of Meraki.
I unironically like this unit.
Really?
Yes.
Talk.
Let me tell you why I like the Hounds of Meraki.
Just so I'm on the same page with you about what this unit is trying to be. It's trying to be a Reaver unit, which is already, not the best of the Interminers Marines. And then it pays more points, presumably, for some anti-Psyker hatred.
Okay, so you get anti-Psyker 4+ and dev wounds.
Okay.
I like this unit if Psykers are really prevalent.
That's true.
Okay.
If Psykers are prevalent, then anti-Psyker 4+ combined with dev wounds is already off the bat good.
Okay, they also get a 4-pin vuln against psychic attacks.
All right, more anti-psychic.
Okay, so you take them and you take the Phobos Lieutenant. Mm-hmm. They come out of strategic reserves and they shoot their Meraki bolt pistols at you, which also have devastating wounds and precision.
Not bad.
Okay, then they move D6 inches. Mm-hmm. Then they charge you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so they can actually get up the field fairly quickly. It's a lot like advancing and charging, being able to move 6 and then...
Well, no, you come out of reserves.
Oh, you come out of reserves.
Then you shoot the pistols, then you charge.
Oh, that's from the Phobos Librarian, that rule.
Phobos Lieutenant, yeah. Lieutenant.
Interesting. So I thought you were going to be making use of this Scout 6 rule over here. No. Wow, okay.
They also make Psykers take a Battle Shock test if they charge.
Yeah, this unit does have some niche capabilities. I don't hate it. I need to see how much it costs, but what's their offense? It's Strength 4, AP 1 on the pistol, AP nothing for the Common Knight. They're so soft unless they hit a Psyker with mortal wounds. Okay, it's going to be very, very meta dependent whether or not these things see any use whatsoever.
Yes.
But they are cool. Bonus points for cool. I mean, look at that guy.
They're pretty cool.
You know who else is really cool? The Wolfen! Pour one out for the Wolfen?
Pour one out for the Wolfen.
Are we pouring 2 out?
We're pouring the whole book out. This unit
went
from hero to 0. I am so sorry, Space Wolf players.
You're a Space Wolf player.
I know. My fellow Saga people.
Money.
Okay, hold on. Look at me, Nick. What is the stats on the Wolfen hammer? Just guess.
Well... I kind of know the answer, so I guessing may not really work. But I really, truly believe the fact that the Wolfen Hammer is simply a worse version of the Wolfen Claws is a little bit of an oversight.
It's the same profile as a Blade Claw.
Yeah, so like, obviously, they've been nerfed a little bit, right? They move 8 to toughness 5, 4 up armor, 2 wounds. That's pretty much the same. Bleed 6, OC 0. Sucks, but like, you like it. OC 0 is really bad. Yeah, it's like, kill a unit off an objective, still not holding it, friends. Yeah, that's not where you want to be. Their gun is a blast, and it's assault, but largely irrelevant. Yeah. They have 6 of Feeling Pain on their 2 wounds, which is not the best combo ever. And then they have a 4-up Invul if they take the Storm Shield. But if you combat Storm Shield with the Wolfen Hammer, you'll notice you just lose 2 attacks for doing so. I cannot fathom a world where the hammer that has historically always been a hammer is this baby soft thing. It's just type F. I'm going to type F in the chat right now because this has got to be a typo. There's no way. There's no way.
I feel like this is a typo.
There's no way. I'll be so butthurt.
I don't get it. They don't do anything. They don't do damage. You can't, what? I don't get it. They're bad. They're really bad.
Do they have other... No,
they don't do
sure
anything.
Don't. Maybe we'll understand this unit better when that stat line changes to strength 10, AP 2, and 3 damage. I don't know.
If that was the stat line, it'd be okay.
It would be a unit. It would be a legitimate unit.
Matt, $5 super chat. Unpopular opinion. Wolfen were like 10 points. They could use a little more time on the shelf. Wolfen are going to have to be 10 points now for me to take them.
Literally. What am I looking at? They're OC 0!
If these guys were 10 points a model, I would take them. If they're anything more than that, I wouldn't.
I'm all for units that were undercosted. Let's fix them. But, units that were undercosted before do not need to be shelled forever. People have Wolfen. Quentin has Wolfen.
I have Void Weavers.
He's Void Weavers.
Yeah, I'm kind of those.
Maybe they should be shelled forever. Let's pour one more out for the Wolfen. Can I get another F in the chat, please? I'm typing it up.
Yeah, the Wolfen deserve 2 Fs. Okay. Yeah, let's see what else we got.
Okay. Wolfen Dreadnought! Tell me this is better. Tell me this guy's better.
Okay, so I kind of like this guy. He's got a 4-up Invuln. He's got a Fenrisian Great Axe, who hits kind of hard. 5 attacks, strength 10, AP 2, D6 plus 1. So he's got 5 last cannons.
5 last cannons? What did you say? Okay, that's caught my attention. He hits.
Yeah, his combat attack is 5 last cannons. He's got a Heavy Flamer.
Or he switches his weapons and goes for the Great Axe and the Shield combination.
Yep, and then he does a non-zero amount of mortal wounds.
Well, also, the impressive part about him is the 4-up Invul. I think defensively, toughness 9, 2-up armor, 4-up Invul is not soft.
He's chunky.
Add some 6-up Feeling Pain to that, and you could have a Wolfen Dread party walking up the table. In 9th edition Wolfen Dreads, I believe are only 125, which is fairly cheap for a Dreadnought. Yep. You could definitely, if they're similar in cost or on the cheaper end of Dreadnought type models, you could spam these out.
So I think it's on a 4-up. He does D3 plus 2 mortal wounds whenever he fights.
Hell yeah, he does. I mean, he's not easy to take down. If he's not expensive, just jam him up there.
Take 3 of them. Saga begins.
Got chat pointing out that this is not a picture of a Dreadnought on the detachment card.
You're going to notice a whole lot of these.
Well, I didn't take these pictures. So he could take either Storm Bolts replaced with Heavy Flamer. You're probably going to do that. Yeah. And then I think you take the Blizzard Shield. Mm-hmm. I think that's just money.
Yeah, you take the Blizzard Shield.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Murder Fang.
I like Murder Fang.
Who doesn't like Murder Fang? He's literally a character Dreadnought who's named Murder Fang.
So he's got 8 attacks, twin linked, strength 8, AP, hitting on 3, strength 14, AP 2, damage 3. I'm not going to lie. The first time I read this, I thought it was strength 8, and I was kind of sad, but no, it's strength 14. But whenever he is attacked, he gets to shoot or fight you back. Now, you can only do it max twice a phase. But what you do is you charge him into something that's never going to kill him, like a guardsman or a rhino or whatever. You fight something else, then that unit has to hit you. So it bonks you, and then you turn around and you hit it. Okay, so basically this unit, the Murder Fang, he's OC 0, but he murders. He got 8 attacks, strength 14, AP 2, 3 damage, twin link. That mega smacks. Yes. Only hits on 3s. Kind of not great. Yeah. But maybe with sustained hits you can kind of make up for it if you can get that rule triggered or something. So anyways, you just keep on consolidating into units. The trick is you have to kill units over and over again. This is a great place to stack your 1 CP strat for 6-inch consolidates. Just let it keep on rolling. If your opponent has lots of MSU stuff and they find themselves near Murder Fang and kind of near each other so that Murder Fang can keep the chain going, you could in theory table an army in one turn. How realistic is that? Pretty low on the realistic scale. Yeah. I don't know how much he's going to. You can't activate him more than once. What do you like about this guy? Because he hits kind of hard. You can fight twice. There was a minute where we thought we could activate him infinite times, but it turns out you can only ever activate a unit twice in the core rules.
You guys were screaming about infinite activations like
we
20
were so
minutes
excited.
ago.
Okay, we found it this morning.
There it is.
We reread the data sheets and we were like, oh.
That's what you do. This is why you're on the team, Quentin. You have basic reading comprehension. You're supposed to fix my weaknesses.
You know what else I have basic reading comprehension of? This $5 super chat from Andrew Wilson.
Andrew Wilson, $5. Showing up late, not sure if it's been covered, but do the character abilities, lethal hits, less sustained hits, stack with the detachment rules? Well, so if you get the lethal hits ability, they won't...
You don't get lethal hits twice.
You won't get lethal hits twice.
But you can have lethal hits from one source and sustained hits from another.
Yeah, and if you happen to get like sustained hits on your data sheet and then like sustained hits from your saga, the whatever, then you can choose which of the 2 sustained hits you'd like. So if you have like an instance of sustained hits 2, like Nijal, and sustained hits 1 from whatever,
you get one or the other.
You can choose sustained hits 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate your super chat, Andrew. You have not missed much. You've missed the death of Wolfen, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's just confirm Wolfen Dreadnoughts are also OC0. Man, they really don't like Wolfen.
They really don't.
Disappointing.
Space Wolves are...
Space Wolf, Thunderwolf
Space
Cav.
Wolves.
All right, Quinn, this is the unit you're most excited about.
This is the unit I am most excited about. I, unironically, really like this unit, and let me tell you why. So you got a bolt pistol. Who cares? You don't take it, you take a storm shield, you got a dude, he's toughness 6, 4 wounds, 4 up and vulnerable save, 3 up save. Pretty chunky. Pretty tanky. Take a unit of 6 of them. Move 10. What are we kidding? We're going to take them in a Gladius Strike Force.
We don't know if you can take 6 of them in a unit yet.
Yeah, we do. They're just right there.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
We totally know. I was going to say maybe you can take like 20 of them.
No, you can take 6. But you give them advance in charge. You put a Wolflord Battle Leader in here, so they get so they move 11 basically advance in charge.
Yeah.
They get +1 damage to all their weapons. You spend the strat for Honor the Chapter, so you get +1 AP, +1 to wound because you're in Assault Auction, because these guys are going in on Assault Auction. Mm-hmm. So each guy has 7 attacks with Strength 5, AP 1, Damage 2, +1 to wound. Then you have your characters.
It's 7 attack, Strength 5, AP 2,
2 damage 2.
Yep. That's legitimately
It's a legitimately good damage.
Legitimately hard
if you want to kill something, you throw Oath of Moment on there, and they just scoop any in the game.
And it's not like you can just tie up this unit, because the Ferocious Charge rule only triggers when you charge.
Yes.
But if your opponent ties you up, you're sad about it. But you can always just fall back and charge, because you're playing Space Marines.
Yep.
You have double instances of that. You have the what's it called? The chapter?
The Tactical Doctrine?
The ability lets you fall back and charge for your Space Marine army. You have that plus a stratagem, so you can double down on it.
Well, the stratagem gives you the Tactical Doctrine, so it's not...
Oh, it doesn't stack. Okay.
No, Canis Wolfborn or the Wolfcrab.
This is legitimately improvement. 4 wounds, 4 up and bolt.
Yeah, no, they are tanky. I like them a lot. Like, they're legit.
Nice. I'm excited about the Thunder Wolves. I mean, this is like my favorite unit in Space Wolves. I've always wanted them to be good.
I think my Space Wolves list will have 12.
I think it should have 18 plus. Andrew Middlemass with a $7.10 Canadian super chat. Do we see Gravis making an appearance in Space Wolves detachments as a worthwhile investment? I love my double power fist craft captain.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I think, unfortunately, you probably just take Space Wolves in the generic detachment, and then you're fine.
Yeah, I think the generic detachment Space Marines have access to is just so strong.
Are we out? You guys hear us, chat? Oh.
I don't know why it's
Stream stuttering.
We live?
YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
Such viewers will experience some issues. Oh no. Let's go get Zeke's.
Okay.
Let's type in the chat.
Hey Zeke, you come here.